Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Rainmakers Roundup. I'm your host, Mark Iorio, and I am really happy to have two guests with me today, Rick Simmons and Rich Lucia.
Hello, Mark.
From SEMITA. How are you, gentlemen?
Good to see you,
guys. You've developed a great little business together, the two of you. It's kind of happened almost by accident, right?
No question.
Kind of a sales and marketing consulting business. Rick, your background is more of a marketing background, right? You've
advertising and marketing for 30 years.
30 years, yeah. Rich, if people don't know this, Rich Lucia is a public speaker. He's written a book, the 180 rule. Do a lot of sales training, right? Business development training. So the two of you get together and you form SEMITA. You have to tell us about SEMITA for a second because people may not know what that means.
It took a little while. We were looking for something a little different, but something that spoke to where we were going. So SEMITA means pathway in Latin. And so SEMITA was taken. So it's SEMITA now. So it's the pathway you should take now. So we talk about the strategy that you should be implementing now.
Great. I like it.
The relationship kind of happened by accident. Actually, Rick was working on his marketing and I was working on sales, and we would refer business back to each other in different disciplines. Mm-hmm. And we started realizing that our customers were really kind of confused, that we're in a new age now where everyone's chasing the next new shiny penny.
Exactly.
Rick came up with the same solution. Yeah. We said, you know what people really need? They need an unbiased opinion of what is the right strategy, what is the right path to achieve their goal.
Yep.
And it has to be an integrated path because you can't treat it like a silo. Sales can't be one thing and marketing can't be another. So we decided to get together and offer our clients, and it's been going extremely well. I wish I could say that we stood by in the beginning and said, we have an idea, how do we turn it into a reality? But the reality almost came before the idea. Mm-hmm. We had some successful customers who were in fact integrating sales and marketing.
Yeah.
It would have been better had they brought us both in at the same time. Mm-hmm. So our thinking was, what if we could have some more enlightened prospects that would actually think that sales and marketing could actually talk to each other and see the real advantage of having them both come in at the same time instead of one just looking at one looking at the other. They've got to talk to each other.
Absolutely.
And they should work together.
100%. You guys are 100% right. It's great to see finally after so many years of marketing being in a silo, sales being in a silo. You know, we talk about there's other business units within a corporation like IT and finance and operations and HR that are also siloed, but you guys are fulfilling or filling that gap, that need between sales and marketing, and I love what you're doing. Tell me a little bit about the success that you've had so far.
Well, the success has really come from approaching it from a non-biased standpoint.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there selling solutions, but behind every solution that they're selling is the incentive for them to sell a product or service.
Oh man, you're not kidding.
I don't know, we happen to live in Pennsylvania, and in Pennsylvania, you must get your car inspected every year or you can't drive without the sticker. Well, where do we take our cars to get inspected? We take them to a gas station whose somebody's job it is to not only tell us what's wrong with our car, but also to repair it. So I've always questioned whether they told me I need brakes, was it almost need brakes or did I really need brakes?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. In business, we kind of do the same thing. So one of the biggest successes that we've had, I was working with this company in their sales strategy, and they decided that they needed SEO. Mm-hmm. So, well, that's not my strong suit, but I sure as heck know a guy here named Rick Simmons who does it for a living.
Right.
So I immediately called Rick in, and why don't you finish telling them what happened from that point?
So SEO, search engine optimization, right?
Exactly,
Rick?
right.
You're an expert in that. You've been doing it a long time.
Long time. Went in, we had a conversation for about an hour and a half, and what I did was tell them they did not need search engine optimization.
Yeah, right.
What they were going after, it wouldn't benefit them. They were selling through distributors.
Okay.
Well, why do you need more distributors? They didn't even want more distributors.
Interesting.
So what they really needed was a completely a different strategy to even think about their marketing. Mm-hmm. And actually, that was a really good one because it included changes in what they were doing with sales.
Yeah.
And they're currently in the process of redoing their complete website because it was done improperly.
So they would have gone down this path of hiring an SEO company, right, to come in, do a whole SEO strategy and plan and everything. And are you saying that they had a finite number of distributors that they were happy with, in a sense, right? And if they grew that, what would have happened to the business?
Well, first of all, contractually, they had an agreement with the distributors they wouldn't add any more on. So isn't it silly to embark upon a strategy to drive more people to their company that were either going to be end users that they couldn't sell or distributors that they didn't want?
Yeah.
And that was counterintuitive to their sales strategy. So not only wouldn't it have worked, it would actually have set them back a stage. Because one of the things that Rick and I do is we ask a customer a simple question. You're at point A and you want to get to point B.
Yeah.
Tell me what point B looks like.
Sure, sure.
And then
don't worry about the sales and the marketing and the strategy. Tell us where you want to go. What are your goals, your overall business goals? And let's see what you're doing now. And then how does all the potential tools work to get you there?
Yeah.
Because we're agnostic. We don't really care what the solution is. It's more about how can we more efficiently get you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And we're living in a world right now where the internet has been both good and bad. It has driven us all to a single solution mentality.
Yeah, it's true,
People are
Rich.
looking for that silver bullet.
Yep.
Well, I happen to be old enough to remember back in the days when we had Christmas tree lights. And the Christmas tree lights were hooked up in series, not that I'm an electrician. But when one bulb would burn out, they all would go out.
Yep.
So you tried each bulb until you found the one that was dead and you replaced it. And God forbid there should be two bulbs out. Now you've got a whole lot more things to try.
Yeah.
You just throw it out.
Well, the world has changed and they started hooking them up in parallel, where now the only bulb that burns out is the one that shows up and the rest stay lit, so it's easy to change. We didn't use that strategy in business. People are going after, I have a sales problem, I'm going to fix CRM.
Exactly.
And they don't realize that there could be another bulb that's out. It could be something in marketing. And as you say, there could be something totally different in another operation altogether.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what we're trying to say to them is, do it at the same time. Make sure that your strategies are complementary.
Yep.
Because if they're not complementary, you're not only not going to get to where you want to get to, it's going to hurt you from getting where you're going. By the way, let me end the story of this one customer. Their goal was to get from a certain amount of $1 million to another. We're happy to say that 6 weeks ago, they not only got to that number, they exceeded it, and they sold their business.
Wow,
And
that's a great success story.
It was a terrific success story.
Right? The other thing you talked about, Rick, you mentioned this a few minutes ago, is that you're service or product agnostic, right?
That's really important.
It's important.
Because we're not trying to sell you something you may or may not need.
Yeah.
Because we need to make money on the back end.
Right.
We don't care what the solution is.
Yeah.
We will uncover what the solution is.
Yeah.
But we have nothing else to sell.
Exactly.
We're selling strategy.
And by the way, there is money to be made in selling those products or services like SEO or, search engine or CRM programs or what have you.
Let someone else have that.
Right.
Now, there is a little but in all this. And the but is that our strategy is that we will meet with a client first and see whether they're a good candidate for this.
Yeah.
If they're not open to the idea of keeping a strategy, we won't do business with them.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Now, if they do, they say, well, you come on board, we give them our recommendations and we tell them what they want to do. At that point, they say, can you continue on?
Yeah.
We'll make recommendations, but we want no financial remuneration from the vendors
Yeah.
that they use.
Right.
We're interested in results.
We
Interesting.
can work
Go ahead, Rick.
with their vendors. We have people that we have vetted, but it doesn't really matter to us either way.
Yeah.
But
it's proper
we'll
to-
oversee it to make sure it's done right.
It's very important it's a good fit, that they have the right mentality.
Yeah.
If they're of the mentality that the world's been training them to up to this point, where I don't want to hear about strategy, just sell me that next shiny penny, they can go try somebody
Go
else.
elsewhere. It's like Covey talks about in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You start with win-win, right? And if you start with win-win, if you go in and say, listen, to a leader or a director of marketing or director of sales or a CMO or a CSO, it's important that we're all on the same page before we can move forward. Isn't that helpful?
If they've got to be willing to open up, first
Yep.
of all, because
Yeah.
we've got to have all the details or else we can't help them.
Kidding, absolutely.
And they've got to be willing to make a change.
Yeah.
Because if we come back with all of this strategy and yet they're not willing to make the change, what are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
We're
Makes
looking,
sense.
we're looking for success stories.
Yeah.
We have a couple. We talked about one today.
Yep.
We're looking for more.
Yeah.
Because that's when you're really providing value.
Absolutely, and that's gratifying. We're going to take a quick break, okay? We'll be right back after a message from our sponsors with Rick Simmons and Rich Lucia from SEMITA. After a message from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
PlymouthRock.com.
Welcome back to Rainmakers Roundup. I am your host, Mark Iorio. I am with Rick Simmons and Rich Lucia from SEMITA Now. SEMITA Now.
Correct.
Correct.
We are talking about a great new business that you guys have developed that handles strategy behind sales and marketing.
Yes,
Right?
together.
Together, right? Not siloed. So I want to kind of talk about the technology of marketing, Rick, for a minute. What have you found over the years to be, people confuse sales and marketing all the time.
Yes.
You know, oh, I need marketing plan, I need sales strategy. Talk about marketing and what marketing entails.
Marketing has had to change quite a bit, especially since the internet. Everybody thought it was really interesting when you could have the Thomas Register or Yellow Pages, direct mail, those kinds of things. And then the internet came on board and everybody like, wow, this is the next best thing to sliced bread. Mm-hmm. Problem is, it's become more complicated, way more complicated, and much more difficult.
Yeah.
When I get someone who talks to me and they really are convinced that search engine optimization is one of their solutions, the question I have to ask now is, well, what's unique enough that people are searching for that uniqueness so that search engine optimization even makes sense for you?
Exactly.
Or do we need to rely on email marketing? Or the big thing right now is, what's your database look like?
Yeah.
If you have a database, we can be successful.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the internet, it's about all the communication pieces around that as well.
Right. And what is the content around those?
Critical.
Right.
And it's not always directly what you think it is. There was a young lady who was doing some work for a health organization, and they did a lot of work with breast cancer. And they tried to get the ladies talking over Facebook and some of the social media about breast cancer. Ladies don't want to talk about breast cancer.
Right.
They do want to talk about best foods to eat if you're experiencing chemotherapy.
Okay.
Huge.
Yeah, it's a big
Everybody wants to
difference.
talk about food.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, sponsored by this particular health. You got to find out what people want to talk about and what engages them.
Yeah.
Then you have a winner.
I've always said that marketing really softens the beaches for sales, right? It's supposed to, right? So it's supportive of what you do, Rich. You go out and you help people understand how to capitalize on what Rick is doing, right? Rick's out there with a message. He's softening the beaches, but now you got to close the deal.
Well, we have to make sure the message is consistent, because
Yeah.
if not, you seem disgruntled. We talked earlier about SEMITA Now, and the reason why we tagged on the SEMITA Now on our website, semitanow.com, is because you have to be in focus on what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I get little pushback from our customers saying that times have changed, how people get their information have changed, their buyers have changed. The whole generational attitude of how they look at sales and marketing has changed.
Right.
And yet, everyone is still doing sales and marketing the way they did 30 years ago.
Sure.
And some of the culprits, you've all heard of the sales funnel. And we've been taught from day one as salespeople that you have a funnel and you put a bunch of things in there and you work them and 2 come out.
Right.
And if you want another 2, you put a whole bunch more in there. And phrases like it's a numbers game. You want to make more sales, then you make more numbers happen.
Right.
Well, those days have gone. We don't have the luxury anymore to get the funnel full. And why in the heck would you sell to the wrong people?
Exactly. That's why the database is so
Well,
important.
we have the luxury of being able to do the research.
Yep.
Right, we've
Right.
got all that now, so our funnel should be a cylinder. We should sell to the people that are most likely to buy.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
remember back in
Yeah.
the 30s, that bank robber Willie Sutton?
Yep.
You know, they asked him, they finally caught him. He was a notoriously successful bank robber, and they wanted to find out psychologically why he robbed banks. So they asked him, and he said, because that's
where the money is.
Exactly.
Why do we not go where the money is? And it's very interesting. We deal with manufacturers. That whole funnel theory of it's a numbers game, you make 100 sales calls and nobody responds, go out and make another 100.
Yep.
What happens on their manufacturing side? When I go into their plant, if their production line starts making inferior products, they don't say, just keep making them.
Right,
Just
exactly.
keep making
Yep.
them, they'll come out. They stop
That's a
it
great
immediately,
point. Yep.
and they start focusing in on what's wrong. Now, they walk outside the plant, go into the sales and marketing operation, and not so much anymore. They're still stuck in the age-old thing of making more calls.
Yeah.
So we believe that SEMITA now is having a bead on exactly what's happening now, because it is different.
Yeah, it is.
And it's evolving all the
All
time.
the time. Yeah.
Right, so that's what we're talking about.
What we've talked to people about a year ago, we don't talk to them about now.
Yeah.
It's different.
Rich wrote this book. It's a very thin book. See how thin it is? It's easy to read. It'll take you a half hour, an hour to read it. Talk about the 180 rule.
Yeah, actually, it has to do with what we were just talking about. We find a lot of companies are really self-sabotaging themselves, not on purpose.
Yeah.
They're just doing things that they've always been told to do, or doing things that they've heard on the news, or implementing strategies that have no purpose, have no end result. So,
Yeah.
in fact, they're really kind of self-sabotaging themselves. And that's what the 180 rule is all about. And anybody goes to semitanow.com, we'll be glad to send you a free copy of
Yeah.
it. But the whole concept behind the book is, and what Rick and I talk about is, make sure your destination is clear and you have a clear path to that destination that makes sense.
Right.
That you're not just trying things. And that's what we're all about. And so far, the customers that we've dealt with really appreciate that and are getting the results, in fact, of using a focused approach as opposed to a trial by error.
Or a scattered approach, a shotgun versus the rifle approach.
We're actually, and I think you're going to see more and more of this, we're actually finding people who have said, enough's enough. I've tried training my people in LinkedIn. I've put them on Facebook. I've had them do CRM. I've had them do all these other tools, and they're running out of money and time.
Yeah.
They're not getting any kind of results.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Yogi Berra that said, any destination will get you there if you don't have a destination. Any path will get you there if you don't have a destination.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
We see a lot of people heading out every day doing it.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask you was, how about budgets? I mean, when you go into an organization, you and I have worked on this for 30
Yeah.
years, right, in marketing. It's very, very difficult to get people to understand that they need to put a budget aside to market their product and then help sell their product, right? The thing that they always say is, I want sales, I want return on investment. That's where Rich comes in. But in order to get to that ROI, in a sense, right, the sale, the close, you've got to do what you're doing.
But the marketing should also have an ROI. We have enough tools now and enough ways to measure things
Yeah.
that it should be easy to determine, and we call it conversion factor.
Of course, yeah.
What's converting?
Yeah.
What activities are you doing that's actually making a difference?
Right.
And it's a really, sometimes a hard conversation about, well, I can drive 10,000 people to your website. Well, how many of them bought anything?
I don't want 10,000 people coming
Right.
to my website.
Well,
Yeah, I had
let me get
some-
5,000 likes.
Yeah.
I had a financial planner ask me, he says, how do I get people to attend my seminars? You know, the ones financial planners have with the rubber chicken
Yeah,
and
right.
a chance to win an iPad.
Right.
And I said, that's easy to do. He says, you can do that for me? I said, sure. I said, just hire Taylor Swift.
Right.
I said, you'll get 10,000 15-year-olds at your seminar,
Yeah.
but no one's going to buy an annuity.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's pretty important, but we're striving for the day that people don't call sales and marketing and don't have the silo, that it's sales and marketing.
Yes.
I spoke to a bunch of CEOs once, and when I said to them, who determines your ideal customer profile, the people we're going to sell to? They said, well, we leave that up to our sales and marketing department. And I said, they're probably the last people you want to talk to.
Exactly.
Has anybody come to you and asked you for a price decrease because your price is too high or your terms and conditions? They're selling to the wrong people.
Exactly.
They said, well, how do we find our ideal customer? I said, what you do is you get everybody from all your disciplines, accounts receivable, shipping, manufacturing, and you put them all in a room. You leave the sales and marketing guys out just for this one meeting.
Yeah.
And you say, who are our best customers?
Right.
Because they'll know.
They'll know.
They'll know
Who are the
is
customers
right.
we'd rather not have? Then you talk about what makes them the best customers. That's your ideal customer profile.
Absolutely, yeah.
Then you bring sales and marketing in and you say, marketing, I want you to focus on this kind of customer.
Yeah.
Sales, I want you to only sell to this kind of customer.
Yeah.
If you sell the wrong customer, and we work with some manufacturers that aren't that large, they start putting in demand that people don't pay their bills, they're putting demand on distribution, they're putting demand on manufacturing, it could swamp the company.
Oh, absolutely.
So that whole concept that we were born with is bad breath's better than no breath at all. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
You get the wrong kind of customer in there, and it'll destroy your company.
It's going to deteriorate the business. So, you know, you said it earlier, Rick. It's all about a message, right? The content, the vehicle to get the word out. Rich said consistency in the message from marketing
Critical.
and sales into marketing. It's one cohesive message, and it's all about the data. You just brought up an amazing point here, Rich, that, you know, forget the sales and marketing people for a minute. Get the right people in there to determine what that database looks like so we can go out and replicate those customers, right? That's the key. So how's SEMITA getting the word out? That's what I really want to know. How are you getting, you know, building your brand, in a sense, out in the marketplace? You said there's a couple of case studies right now. You want to build on that. So tell us about that.
We're doing a number of activities. It's funny, we've built both of our separate businesses predominantly through referrals. Mm-hmm. So letting people know what we do and what's different about it is the first step.
Right.
The second part is that we've started a podcast, a blog. We're going to be doing email marketing, LinkedIn, all of those things where we think our prospects are hiding and hanging out.
Right.
We're going to where we believe the prospects are, and we're very defined on who our target market is. Mm-hmm. You know, we're looking for manufacturers who have been doing an excellent job at producing their product. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden it's thrust upon them to also have to sell it. Right. So they hire someone and he doesn't work out, and they hire somebody else, and it's a trial and error thing.
Yeah.
And they could be one hire away from losing their entire business.
Yeah.
So we figure these are the people, and we also have the case studies and the recommendations from people we've already done it for, mm-hmm. that will help bring it through.
That's great.
And that's why our tagline talks about profitable revenue, because mm-hmm. it's not about just increasing revenue if it's the wrong kind of revenue.
Right.
It's increasing the profitability and what revenue actually brings that.
Exactly. So it's manufacturers in a specific... Predominantly in a specific revenue arena?
Right. We're looking, what seems to be a real sweet spot for people who are the most confused about how to handle this and are either falling upon the history of the way people used to do sales and marketing or chasing the new shiny penny, seem to fall between the $3 to $30 million range.
Okay. All right.
Although we have a couple bigger ones.
We have a couple bigger ones, but it's important that we walk our talk and practice what we're talking about.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're keeping focused. We're not saying, well, we can help everybody. No, we want to make sure that we operate in that arena.
Yep.
You know, one of the things that I start off a presentation with to the sales organization, because we are ignoring our most valuable asset, and a lot of customers are, and that's their existing install base.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because we were taught, you're a hunter. Go out and find some business, close it, throw it over the fence, and go find some more.
Yeah.
That's not the way to sell in today's world.
Yeah.
So I start off a presentation by saying, there's been a new law passed. You're not allowed to visit any of your existing customers. And I hear groans from the audience. How can we live without doing that? I said, okay, fine, it's not true. I made it up. Now answer me a question. How many people have customers you haven't seen in a year? And they kind of bow their heads down.
Yeah.
Because we are, in fact, ignoring the people that, number one,
That are putting bread and butter on the table.
putting bread and butter on the table, are their ideal prospects, know why they're buying from us, and once you find that out, you use sales and marketing, go out and find some more that are just like them.
Exactly.
See, some of the technology has actually made people lazy.
Yeah.
Because it's real easy to shoot off an email.
Yeah. Yeah.
Touch me, feel me.
Yeah, right,
know
exactly.
Me.
Face to face.
Get to know me.
It's been an amazing half hour. It went by quickly. Rich,
Hey,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Rick,
Appreciate your
Good
time.
to
it
see
was
you,
an
Mark.
absolute pleasure. It really was. You guys
Thank
were
you.
terrific, and good luck with the business. It's going to go well.
Thank you.
Before we cut, could you just tell the audience how to get in touch with SEMITA?
The website is semitanow.com, and it's rick@semitanow.com or rich@semitanow.com. That way, if you mix up your K's and your H's, you're still sure to get somebody.
You're going to get a hold of you.
You can hold us one way or another.
That was a great show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the
You're welcome.
opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week on Rainmakers Roundup. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Be safe.